What is up, Mythgardians? Leap Daniel here. I'm coming back at you again with another budget deck. I saw that there was a demand for budget control, so I tried to see what I could do in that regard. Now, this list is not your typical control list because, frankly, a lot of the best control tools, like board clears and stuff, are rare or mythic. You know, Thunderclap is rare, Magnus Thorson is mythic, Gigantomachia is mythic, Misanthropia is rare, Armageddon Angel is mythic. So restricting myself to commons and uncommons, I had to think about what I could do to control the board when limiting myself that way. What I came up with was kind of a mid-rangey control. It's not using spells to control. I would call it on-board control. That's one of the nicknames I've given for this deck. I call it budget Mistwalker control or on-board control, because your minions are coming on the board and you're making trades that secure the board with those minions. You're not using so much spell tools to control the board. You do have corrode equipment and you have amnesia created by Vampire Historian, but that's about it. Mostly you're using your minions. You're using onboard control. The great thing here is you don't have the impel power. You have protect to help you make more of those trades, but you have Carny Lug and Mistwalker Gate, 3 copies of each. In a way, those are kind of like mega impel. They not only give you a move action, but also teleport. And a lot of times they give you multiple move actions over many turns. And so it's like a much cheaper and much more efficient impel. So you have these crazy, Frecky Huntress, Coruscant Axolotl, Stadium Holcon teleporting around the board, removing everything. Just imagine like if all your minions were Shinobi of Smoke almost, not necessarily immune to damage, but armor helps with that, and some of them give blight, like Venom Fang Mutant or Hunter of Man. I think this deck is really great. I went 6-3 with it. I did beat a champion with this one too, so I'll show you a few games with it. So first up, we'll get right into the game where I beat a champion. Mysterion, he's a champion, or former champion. He's not a champion this season. This version of the deck was slightly different. I had Instabeast and Ignition, but I don't use those cards in here. But he's, funnily enough, he's got the same color as me, but he's going for a much more aggro version. He's just trying to play agile minions and buff them and go face as much as possible. And my deck is trying to stop that. So I play Meso Libre to paralyze his agile vampire. He gives it Instabeast to survive. And then here I use Corrode Equipment with the armor power, so that makes it get Blight 3. He still attacks past me. He has another Instabeast, and he puts it on the healthy vampire this time. And then I get Mistwalker Gate, which will help me make the trade I need to make to secure the board. Now if that Frecky Huntress survives, I'll get Life Tap. I'll be perfectly happy and healthy. And that's it. He admits defeat because all he has is 2 dopers. So I thought that was a pretty good showcase of how this deck can fend off aggro. Like I said, not traditional control. You're not controlling so much with spells. The only spell you really use is Corrode Equipment, but you're controlling on the board. I always had the board secured. All right, here we have Saltworker, who was a former Mithril, not a champion, but he's playing aggro canines. So again, you're going to see the power of this deck to really keep aggro in check. I forge my Stadium Holcon. And so he starts building up his pack, grouping things together. I want to tear that pack down, so I get rid of his Bold Omega. He plays Canine twice, so he's forged it, and he still has 2 more, so that's pretty good for him. I burn my extra copy of Mistwalker Gate, and then I get Vampire Historian to block his canines. He draws Volkov Hetman, which is really nice for him. He gets a big old pile of stats, but unfortunately for him, I have the Amnesia from Vampire Historian. So that causes his stats to go away. I teleport over and threaten his Hetman. He shifts me over, but that shifts my Mistwalker gate as well, so unfortunately for him, I can just teleport back and use the armor to corrode his Hetman as well. And now he's got no damage he can do. My Frecky Huntress is threatening him, and he gives up. So that was a pretty nice handling of those canines there. Now this guy is also a former champion, but spoilers, I did lose this one, so I'm showing you a loss. And this game goes much longer as well, so you get to see, you know, some of the bigger cards this deck can play. So I burn my Coruscant Axolotl, forging it. One of the troubles with this deck is these Maze of Iatiku. Maze of Iatiku is good, you still want that draw power, but it doesn't trade well, so it's very difficult if your opponent can apply early pressure on the maze. So like right here, I could have left it up and maybe traded 1 for 1, and he would infuse it or something, but I decided to go for the draw. I don't know if that was the right decision. But also getting the Colosseum boost on a minion with Defender is not so great. So maybe you can think about, I don't know, doing something else with the mazes if you want to adapt this deck. I play Frecky Huntress to block his 4 attack. It's interesting, he's kind of aggro mid-range, so he's trying to apply pressure, but even in the late game, you'll see he gets a lot of stuff going that can overwhelm me. So I get off the Frecky Huntress transformation, and I block with another. And I don't get Blight 3, just Blight 1 on that Leshy Green. And here he makes an amazing play, killing my transformed Huntress and forbidding me the transformation from the other. Fortunately, I still get the transformation off with my Mistwalker gate. Again, showing just how powerful that card is. And then, again, it's a Colosseum boosted maze, so it's not so great. But he uses Extract Life to get rid of my second Huntress. I'm getting forged Coruscant Axolotls, which is pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. So I put one on a Mistwalker gate, and this thing is amazing. It's like a buffed Shinobi of Smoke if it comes on a Mistwalker gate. So I'm really happy about that. But he used Bella to stun it. So that's rough. I draw with Maze. I corrode his Melpomene Muse, and I get a second Coruscant Axolotl next to the first, with the logic being, you know, he can't stun both. So he uses Magmatar and trades with the Bella. Another maze that stole another one of my Colosseum buffs, so real kind of bad luck there. But I protect my Axolotl. And this Unforgivable Crossing was the first of 3 mythics, I think 3, that really screwed me over here. My Coruscant is deeply weakened, and his hand is recharged. I get a Carny Lug, which lets me teleport both itself and my Axolotl into a better position. He uses Ring of the Departed, so that when he trades with his buffed up Magmatar, he can get Leshy Green, which was amazing. That was a nice play on his part. I move my Venom Fang to trade, and I stun his Leshy Green. And I try to protect my maze so that he won't want to rush something into it and I can get a draw. He extracts my Venom Fang, and I think here I want to use the Trapezist to trade. And then I use Vampire Historian. Maybe I shouldn't have used Amnesia on the Melpomene Muse. Maybe I should have used it on the Leshy Green. Because one draw is not so bad, but this Leshy Green is kind of nuts. So this 7-ring ritual is the next mythic that really gets me. So his board is full now. And if you look at his hand, you might get a spoiler of what the next one is. That's also going to be a problem for me. But I play, what is this, Hunter of Man to block some more. And here comes Chortstag. So Chortstag revives Bella, and it's really hard for this deck to remove Chortstag. You can give it Blight, but even that takes some time, and it's going to be doing overrun damage the whole time. So I just let my Hunter of Man sit in front of it, and then he'll have to trade and get Blight too. But my life is now getting very low. So, and he's coming down with Serapis and Bella and really just paralyzing me and outvaluing me. I try to Blight his Serapis and block again, but it's looking like he's really got more cards than me. And if you're a control deck, you never want to be in that situation where your opponent has more cards. That means you failed to control. So, and now he gets down an Agile minion too. And the minion that could kill it is stunned. So that's pretty much over for me. I try to Blight it to reduce its attack, but that'll only reduce its attack to 3, which is still enough to kill me. So I clap, giving him congratulations for the win, and he goes for the kill. He's just styling on me at this point. Here he comes with the Firebird, and that's it. So that was this deck in a longer game. Unfortunately, it did lose because this guy had some pretty amazing mythics. But I think it did well, all things considered. You know, it's very hard to make a common and uncommon exclusive budget control deck. Unlike my last budget deck where I wouldn't even change it that much even if you did have access to mythics. This one, you might strongly consider running like a Misanthropia or something if you have it. But I still thought that the inclusion of Carny Lug and Mistwalker Gate was a really novel way to play control, really moving those bodies around. So if you like it, and if you want to see more budget decks, please give it a like and let me know in the comments that you liked it, and subscribe for more Mythgard content. And no matter what you thought, thanks for watching. Bye.